Nothing in this recording is intended as investment advice, and the people in this recording may hold positions in the companies they talk about. Do not make any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Paul Barratt, who's CEO at Rome Resources. How's your day, Paul?
Fine, thanks, Zach.
Right, in terms of the news flow you've had since you came to market, I would say it looks like it's a 10 out of 10. You've got a high-grade tin asset in DRC. All the guys around you know what they're doing. They've been there, done that. The only thing I suppose that's missing is a soaring share price, but I suppose you're just focusing on getting on with the job.
Well, that's right. I mean, when we did the RTO and we came back onto AIM, it was a clear message to everybody what we were going to do, and we're going to hit the ground running. We've currently got 3 rigs active. A 4th one is in country on its way, and it should be there this week. So we'll have four rigs drilling. So a pretty intense operation for the next couple of months. And
I suppose putting the bedwetters aside, from the RTO and other times as well. This just remind us really what the asset is and what the prospects are for it. And I suppose what's also important is what kind of scale of asset is it as well, or what's your thinking on that?
Yeah, so it's a predominantly a tin project, and it's 8 kilometers from Alpha Min's mine, which is the highest grade tin mine in the world in the eastern DRC. And so we have a very similar geology. Rome did some soil analysis, a lot of very interesting results from that. It came up with 2 prospects, one of which Kalayi, which is pure tin, and one's Mont, which is copper, zinc, and tin at depth. So there's a little bit of drilling that they achieved 2022, 2023, and so we're going to infill that now. And it looks like certainly from the initial drilling results in the last campaign, that the grades are as good as Alpha Min, and in fact the volumes probably will be comparable. So I think it's a very comparable asset to Alpha Min. It's just at a much earlier stage.
And just for people, I mean, the last announcement was regarding XRF. Could you just explain the significance of that as well?
Yeah, so there's the way that the guys have done this in the past and doing it now is essentially using a portable XRF machine that will analyze the percentages of all the various elements that we're looking for, primarily the metals. And that's done on an ad hoc basis as the core comes out, so that we know that we're seeing tin. Sometimes it's very difficult to spot it visually, so this is a very good indicator for us. And then the second phase, while we're preparing the core, is to cut a section out of the core and pulp it like you would in a lab, basically average it over a meter or half meter or however you want to do it, and run the XRF on that pulp, which gives you a much more accurate averaged value. And it's becoming quite close to what you would see from the lab assays, but it's not certifiable lab assays. That's essentially all there is to it. And because of the process, a lot of paperwork in DRC to get the cores into the local airport, and then to Lubumbashi, and then to the lab, and then on the second set on to South Africa. So it's a really time-consuming process. So what we've done with the XRF is to really give an indication that we're barking up the right tree with the results, and we have to be patient another few weeks for some of the official assays to come through. There's a way of keeping ourselves and our investors, shareholders, appraised of how we're doing. It's just not the official numbers, and I think it's a fair way of doing this.
In terms of the timelines that we're looking at, I mean, obviously at the moment you're still drilling around and trying to at least assess what you've got there. What are the timelines that you're expecting now, in the sense that when you came to market, it looked as though you would be relatively quick to production?
Yeah, so the timeline was always 3 to 4 months of drilling. So we started in August, so we're about a third of the way through that. And so by the end of the year, we'll finish the drilling campaign. We'll have the assays done. We'll do an assessment, or a competent person will do an assessment, and we will get hopefully a maiden resource early Q1, say January, February. And then there's a decision to be made what we do next. I mean, ordinarily, or should I say, normally, Klaus and Mark, the way that they've done these deals in DRC and made quite a lot of money in the process is by basically taking the project to bankable feasibility study status. So the next step, if you like, with more drilling and more certification of the resource. And that is probably the optimum point on the value curve to exit, to monetize. So I think what we will do is make that decision in Q1, and then it's probably be another year, 18 months. If we go the pre-feasibility study, that'll be another year's worth of work, including some drilling. If we monetize at that point, obviously that will be what it'll be. But we're very mindful of the fact that what we're here for is basically to maximize the return for shareholders, and very, very flexible on how we get that achieved.
So you're happy to run with the ball to whatever stage will maximize value for shareholders, basically.
Yes, that's right. It's unlikely to be all the way to production. It certainly could be the bankable feasibility study phase, but it won't be all the way to production. We're not miners, we're explorers.
Okay, well, we look forward to more news on that. In the meantime, Paul Barratt, CEO at Rome Resources, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Zach.